6, 2012 meeting of the Jackson City Council to order. And we'll ask Councilman David Cisco to lead us in our invocation and pledge. If you would, please rise.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the many blessings you give us, dear Father, especially the blessing of life. Father, we thank you for our opportunities, especially on a special day like this where we go to the polls and elect our leaders of our great nation. We ask you to be with each one of us and to see that things are carried out for your will, and we put the right man in office to lead this great country, dear Father. Father, we thank you for your Son and his love and his sacrifice for us, dear Father. Father, be with us today as this council meets to do things that and vote on things that affect our great city. We ask you to give us the wisdom to do this, dear Father. Father, we thank you for our life, and we thank you for the citizens of this city. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we have two missing in action this morning, Councilman Charles Rum, Councilman Ernest Brooks. Item 4 is approval of the minutes of the October 2nd, 2012 City Council meeting and the minutes of the October 17th, 2012 call City Council meeting. And those minutes have been distributed to council. If there are no changes or any modifications, we'll just accept those minutes as submitted. Remind our citizens here this morning, if you want to be recognized under new business, if you'll make it known at that time, just raise your hand or stand. We'll be happy to call on you. I have one proclamation this morning, and that's for Adoption Month. And I think hopefully we have Commissioner Springfield here with the Department of Services to come forward and accept that proclamation. This is a proclamation for National Adoption Month, whereas adoption is one of the ways in which families come together and provide for each other, and whereas adoption provides stability and roots for children who find themselves without these valuable tools, and whereas adoption makes the richness of parenthood available to those who might otherwise not be able to enjoy this privilege, and whereas every child deserves a family, and all efforts will be made for permanency of children in foster care in a timely manner. And whereas our community and our world are immeasurably improved by the presence of families who love and support each other. And whereas the Department of Children's Services has labored to present adoption as an option that will accommodate families desiring children and for children needing the security of a permanent home. Now therefore we, Jerry Guest, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Tennessee, and Jimmy Harris, Mayor of Madison County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim November 2012 as National Adoption Month in Jackson, Madison County, Tennessee, and urge all citizens to join us in this worthy observance. Commissioner, it's an honor for me to present this to you, and thank you for what you do.
I'd just like to say on behalf of the Department of Children's Services that we really appreciate Mayor Guest, Mayor Harris, and actually the community as accepting November and just the whole year knowing that children are available for adoption. We thank you for proclaiming this month as National Adoption Awareness Month, and we look forward to seeing you all again next year. And we just want the community to be aware that we do have children that are awaiting adoption in foster care, and if you're interested in being a resource parent to be an adoptive placement for us, please give us a call at our department. And our local number is 731-421-2000. So give us a call, and thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you.
Item 7 is the first readings, consideration of the ordinance to close and abandon a portion of unnamed alley running west off Campbell Street, just north of Wisdom Street, and that's submitted by planning staff. Dan?
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning. Morning.
You have in your packet the materials pertinent to this closure and abandonment. As related to you in the materials, this is a part of an alley that is unimproved. It's not used by the public to access property, so it doesn't serve any public purpose, and the staff is recommending that you close and abandon this portion.
And one quick question. How many feet will be allocated to each property owner?
I believe it's half will go to each property owner. I believe that's like a 10-foot, looks about a 10-foot alley. So, depending on the width of the alley, half will go to the property owners that adjoin on one side, and half will go to the others.
Any other questions by council?
Move for approval. Second.
Motion for approval and a second. Before we vote, council, this is a ordinance on first reading, and we'll open a public hearing and see if there's anyone here who'd like to speak in support of or in opposition to the passage of this ordinance. If not, we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Okay, item 2 is consideration of ordinance to rezone property located at 306 John Williams Road from I-2 Light Industrial District to RS Single Family Residential District containing 5.31 acres, more or less, submitted by Robert Taylor.
Again, you have the materials pertinent to this rezoning request. As explained, this was an error that basically started in the county with a permit, and this property was identified as actually being in the city. So this is making the property owner that has put a residential use on this property now in compliance with the zoning for the city, and it is a down zoning from the current industrial class that's on the property, so we are recommending this to you.
Any questions on this ordinance?
Move for approval.
Have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second, before we vote, council, again, we'll have a public hearing since this is first reading. Is there anyone present who would like to speak in support of or in opposition to the passage of this ordinance? If not, we'll close the public hearing, and council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Okay, item 3 is consideration of the ordinance to rezone property located on the east side of Cooper Anderson Road, just south and west of Witchire Creek Drive, from RS1 PRD, Single Family Residential, Planned Residential Development District to RS1 Single Family Residential District containing 53.6 acres, more or less, submitted by Jerry Winberry on behalf of Venture Holdings Company, LLC.
You have the materials pertinent to this rezoning request. This is a planned residential development that, for whatever reasons, didn't get off the ground, and now they're trying to look at other ways to develop it. So they're basically converting this property back to just a traditional single-family neighborhood, and the Planning Commission has reviewed this and is recommending approval of it to you.
Okay, any questions from council?
Move to approve.
We have a motion for approval.
Second.
A second. Go ahead and conduct a public hearing on this ordinance and see if there's anyone here who'd like to speak in support of or in opposition to the passage of this ordinance. If not, we'll close the public hearing. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Before we go to item 4, and before I forget, we do have some late procrastinators on Leadership Jackson, who is with us today. Would you all please rise? See who you are. Thank you all for being here. Morning. Okay, item 4 is consideration and review of the annexation progress report for Northwest annexation sub-areas, and you all have the numbers. Stan?
All right. As required by state statute, as long as we still are delivering service in our annexation areas, we're required initially at the 6-month mark, and then every year after that, give you a progress report and tell you where we are on the delivery of services based on our plan of service. And you have the materials pertinent to that plan of service, that progress report. And as you can see in our progress report, all the services that we deliver as a city have been completed, and we are providing those at this time. There are some utility provision that's still going on, but you can see that electricity to the annexed areas will be delivered completely by the end of this year. Most of the water and sewer will be delivered by the anniversary date next year by May of 13. There are a couple of sections in basically in sub-areas 10 and 19. There are a little bit of exception, but all areas will be completed in terms of the plan of service by a year from now. So this will be your last progress report, because once services are delivered, we're not required by state statute to do it anymore.
One additional item on that is we do have our fire station, number 7,
Yes,
under construction, schedule for completion in January, and I think according to the time frame, I think May is the drop dead date on providing those services. So we should have that fire station up and going in plenty of time.
We also have already started delivering some of our street lighting too, so we are progressing with our delivery of service.
Okay, any questions of council on the annexation progress report?
But, Mayor, when you say that we'll be delivering services in May, that doesn't mean that they aren't protected now. They're protected now.
No, all
They're
the
protected
public
now.
safety services started on the day of
Right,
annexation.
right.
The only thing that is different is, of course, utility provision has time frames that we lay out, and they are on schedule for those. And there are like street lights that are installed as development warrants, so we are installing those as the development level in the areas that warrant that now, and then as they grow and develop, we'll extend those.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from council as far as the progress report? I think we need to, there's no vote to be taken on that progress report, but I think in staying consistent with the ordinance, we need to go ahead and conduct a public hearing. So if there's anyone here who would like to make any comment as to the annexation progress report, either in the affirmative or in the negative, please feel free to make yourself known. If not, we'll close the public hearing, and thank you, Stan.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Sure. I made a second readings, and we have none. The council, if you would strike item 7, if you would, from new business, that has been moved from the agenda. We're going in a different direction as far as that project. First item under new business is consideration request by Jackson General's General Manager Jason Compton for the following capital improvements to Pringles Park. And you all, I think, have some information that was given to you, agenda review by Jason. Jason will come forward, and Al, you may want to join him at some point on the financing part of it. Morning, Jason.
Morning, Mayor. Morning, Council. Good morning. I'm here to request funding for a couple of updates, renovations to Pringles Park to be completed by April 1st before our 2013 season opens up. I know each of you have a detailed packet of the funding request. I'll briefly touch on the 3 parts of it. First, the lighting at Pringles Park has been deemed substandard by Minor League Baseball. MILB came into the stadium audit in 2008 and in 2011. You can see the details in the packet, but it is substandard by what Minor League Baseball requires. We started talking with JEA, with TVA, and then Jack Hornsby Electric, and the proposal that Jack Hornsby Electric gave us to correct the problem is relamping all 160 lights, cleaning the fixtures, and putting a new lens on, which will take us well above the MILB standards and will continue to be above the standards for the first 1,200 hours that the lights are used, and it will be The normal, in talking with other stadiums around not just the Southern League, but around minor league baseball, is every 5 to 7 years need to be relamped. The biggest part of this proposal is the new lenses that are going on to help with the overall lighting issue. And that is a lot better than what we initially thought in having to add lights or light standards. So that is portion one of the request. Secondly, we're requesting to increase our ticket office output by doubling the number of ticket windows that we have. We currently have 3 windows at Pringles Park to sell tickets out of. In the early days, 1998, 99, 2000, when our season ticket base was around 3,000, most everybody who were coming to a game already had tickets in their pockets, didn't have to rely on going to the ticket office on the night of the game. Our season ticket base is down around 500 now, and when we're handling crowds of 2,500 plus and having a 1,500 person to 2,000 person walk up 3 lines is logistically impossible to keep people from waiting in line and thus not performing the best customer service that we can perform for them. We have to take people outside, our staff members, game day staff members, with cash and tickets, which brings up a safety issue, not to mention the people who just drive on by the park instead of stopping when they see long lines at the park. Thirdly, along the same lines of the crowds, we're requesting funding to create a new concessions area down the right field line. It's a renovation, it's not a new construction, it's adding some new concessions windows, actually take our output of our home plate concession and the items that we offer there from 12 points of sale up to 20 points of sale. So it's 8 additional registers. Again, it's just one of those things that when we have 12 points of sale right now, when crowds are 2,500 plus, which we had 22 events in Pringles Park this year of 2,500 plus, and that's up from 13 events in 2011. We have to be able to provide customer service. We're the smallest AA market in all of baseball, and we can't afford for somebody to come out and have a negative experience, not to mention the revenue dollars and the sales tax dollars that we're not capturing by not being able to get the people through the lines in a manner that we really want to do. This year we did have a 25% increase in attendance over 2011, and we are hoping and expecting that to become more the norm than the exception. I think Al Laffoon has a couple of comments as well.
Mayor, I was just going to make some comments here, neither pro nor con. Trying to do this at an arm's length because the ball club is the one who's requesting this. And if I've done this before, and just bear with me, but Pringles Park is a unique entity for us. We are not a sports authority like Nashville or Memphis or Knoxville. So we don't have all the benefits that go along with that, but there is, I guess you'd say, some obscure legislation. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this so that you can see it.
You may have to read that out. We're all
Okay.
old up here.
Basically, it says, notwithstanding the allocations provided for in subsection A, this is Title 7, Chapter 67 of the Tennessee Code. If a franchise for a minor league affiliate of a Major League Baseball team, which is what we have, playing at a Class AA level or higher, which we also qualify there, in a municipality in this state, and if the municipality constructs a new stadium, which we did in 1997-98, then at such time as the franchise begins operating the stadium and for a period of 30 years thereafter, an amount shall be, bear with me again here. I shouldn't have highlighted this. An amount shall be apportioned and distributed to that entity that is responsible for the retirement of debt on and maintenance of the stadium in the municipality equal to the amount of state and local sales tax revenue derived from the sale of admissions to games to the professional sports franchise and also the sale of food and drink sold on the premises of the stadium used in that conjunction. I have to have Lewis probably interpret that, but what does that mean for us? That means for every dollar of food, any kind of concessions or gift shop or tickets, we, the city, benefit, and to the tune of a little less than the whole 9 3/4% sales tax. What does that mean to us? What has it meant to us, starting back in '98, from local option sales tax to state sales tax? We have collected almost $2 million, I should say, we have been refunded by the state $2 million that we can apply to the maintenance and to the debt. And the way that I have looked at it and the way we have applied it, we put those funds in the 211 debt service fund to pay on the debt. And here's where Pringles Park is. We have 5 basic years left. The stadium originally cost $8 million. $1.5 million was taken out of the general fund, and then we borrowed on GO bonds $6.5 million. And as you can see, to pay off that $6.5 million with the interest, which at that time was 5-point-something%, and then we did a refunding about 2 or 3 years ago that reduced that to about 3.7. But the total cost of that 6.5 is 9.3 when you get through paying the interest, and the interest is 2.8 million. So basically, we will end up, and this I don't think we can say for any of our other buildings except on the Sportsplex. It benefits us, it behooves us to make that park user-friendly and let the ball clubs sell as much as they can, because we get the money back. And again, this is discretionary on their part. They might sell as much food without what they're asking for. Last year, on the left field side, we had some money left over. We were able to have, I guess it was Toll Brothers, for about 14 grand, just cut a hole in the wall, and the equipment was already there, so we opened up another concession stand, and they have had, I call them hawkers, people out hawking, selling food, so that you don't have to get out of your seat. So my only point is, number one, anything they're asking for stays with the stadium, because the stadium is ours. So it's not something that if they decide to break the lease and leave, that they take with them. And it behooves us to help them when we can to increase their sales of concessions and gift shop and tickets, because we benefit from it as long as we are spending those money on retirement of debt or on maintenance of the stadiums.
Al, did you give us the total amount of sales taxes collected out there since inception? Or did I miss that?
Yes, I tried to. Let me get it over here. $1,994,053. So you can see where, as Jason mentioned, we had some low years, and now they have brought attendance back up. And you can see we had 120,467 collected this year. There's somewhat of an anomaly there on the 2009 number, because, and it's hard to get the state to admit their error. This money, part of it should have gone to the Sportsplex. They got sales tax mixed up, but one way or another, we have $2 million of recovery. And by the time the stadium is paid off, you take another 5 years at 120,000. We will basically then have covered the $2.8 million interest, which again, I think is something that we need to acknowledge, that Charles Farmer and his staff at the time were able to get us involved in this obscure legislation, because when you take the $1.2 million in naming rights, and we will have collected $2.8 million to cover the interest, the stadium turns out to cost here you would be saying 11 million if you took the total cost plus the interest. And then if you take the 1.2 million and the 2.8 million, you can see that we've reduced the total cost of that stadium significantly.
Question, Al, on that. How much extra revenue would the Diamond Jacks have to make for us to recoup this $200,000 they're asking us to spend in sales tax dollars?
Well, I don't know if I've figured that out. It's gonna be something that's not a one-year, one-time benefit. I mean, what.
Well, yeah, I realize that.
What would be the payback period then on that?
Well,
What did you say, we
basically,
get 7 cents on the dollar?
yeah.
Oh,
No, well, no, 9.75%.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because we're getting back both.
Uh,
Randy, you're our ace accountant here. Can you?
Okay, that'd be about 2 million, somewhere between $2 and $3 million we probably have to sell to,
Offset it.
be, depending on, you know, the lighting, I don't think it's gonna have any effect on the sales. We
No,
have to
the
deduct that
lighting
out.
is-
So it'd probably be about $2 million in additional sales we'd have to have to recoup our $200,000 we spent.
And can you denote, or is it private information, what your concession and gift sales, roughly what are you talking about per year?
This last year was right at $800,000 to $900,000 in food that we sold this last year.
So it would take a couple years then?
Well, we're talking about the increase is what it would take. What I was saying,
Yeah, okay.
to increase our $200,000, they'd have to have an additional about $2 million worth of sales before we break even.
Right.
Oh,
And that's not gonna happen in any short period of time.
I thought it was
I'm
gonna happen
sorry.
next year once we did.
But there is a payback. I guess that's the only point that I'm making, because usually,
Well, yeah, I think there's a reduction in our cost, but I don't know necessarily we'd say there would be a payback, though. I mean, there would be, we get some of that $200,000 back, but I don't know if we'd ever get it paid back, you know, just based on sales tax revenue we get.
Jason, what are your anticipations of sales increase if we like to have more ticket booths and more concession stands? Any anticipation on that, or?
I know for a fact that on the big nights, I mean, there's people that just don't get out of their seats to go get in lines. They don't want to miss 2 or 3 innings of a game because of the lines. And, you know, we're doing everything that we can outside of that with the hawkers. But again, we have one kitchen in Pringles Park that, right now, that is handling all of the hot food. We broke out a lot of the packaged food, drinks, peanuts, and try to get that outside the area and additional portables. You know, and it's not just our baseball games either. It's being able to bring other events in. We hosted the Sports Plus Football Jamboree last year with West Tennessee Healthcare and FCA. And, you know, we had over 7,000 people in the park that night. And there was a lot of people that just couldn't get to the concession stand because we're one area with a number of people. We want to continue to have additional events, not just the 70 baseball games that we play every year, but to continue to have OVC baseball championships, football games, if that's a possibility, concerts, to be able to use the park in additional days. And, you know, it is some logistical problems that we've got with the points of sale that we have on tickets and concessions that can either deter people from wanting to come in with those events or not. But it'll be an increase, and right now, I can't tell you exactly what we're giving up by not having those, but I know there's people who will not just get in the lines in the box office to even come in the park to give us a chance.
You mentioned the one kitchen. Was there ever a point at the attendance that you had to stop selling food because there wasn't enough turnout of the food from the kitchen being producing food in the kitchen?
Oh, it does slow down. You know, that's one of the things too, is on our dollar nights, I mean, you know, when we do 7,000 hot dogs in a night, again, there's one area, one kitchen trying to keep up with that, and it slows everything down. And again, the request is, there is a existing kitchen that just has no equipment in it right now, and it's around the corner that nobody really knows it's there, that we're trying to equip and use that to then double that output that we've currently got going.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
good morning.
Morning.
2 questions, Jason, as it relates to the request that you're making by Major League Baseball standards, the lighting is the only one that we're not up to par on. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
By Major League Baseball standards.
Yes, sir.
Second question, Al, since you brought it up, where are we with respect to the naming rights of the stadium?
That's something I would really have to hand off to Jason because they are negotiating with
We'll
Kellogg's
direct-
and several
We'll
others.
direct both of them to him.
We're in negotiations ongoing with Kellogg's, with the acquisition Kellogg's had of Pringles from P&G. Everything kind of got slowed down, a lot slower than what we would hope for it to have been. But we're in ongoing negotiations with them as well as some other prospects right now.
So as it relates to the concession and the other requests that you're making this morning, this is because of not the season ticket holders, but the average people that are coming in? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Our, back 98, 99, 2000, we had that 3,000 person season ticket base. Again, a lot of people already had their tickets. Tickets were bought early. With the decline in our season ticket base and the increase in our attendance, most of our attendance, people were coming on a given night, are coming an hour before the game, purchasing tickets, getting in line, and coming the day of.
So as it relates to your request, once again, by MLB standards, it's the lighting that is really the situation that we got to come up to par in. Is that correct?
The MILB lighting issue is the only thing that we're below standard on according to MILB. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Jason?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Morning.
Mayor,
Councilman Cisco, I think you got the
Okay,
floor.
okay.
my understanding, Jason, as far as the increase in attendance was somewhere about 25% last year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Personally, I want to just congratulate you for the fine job that y'all are doing out there.
Thank you.
And I've been several times and just enjoy myself. I don't know whether anybody else has been or not, but it is good family entertainment. And I do know this, there's one thing that we need in this city, and that's more jobs. And Pringles Park and the Jackson Generals are a definite asset to the city as far as attracting new business and industry. And we've got several other things here, and we've got several that are not. For instance, our medical community, that's one thing that attracts folks here. Our quality of life, like the Jackson Symphony. And then I won't mention the X's on it, but your part has done a lot for this city as far as us being able to bring some more people in here, because that's one of the things they look at is quality of life. And I'd like to make the motion this time we approve this for the Jackson Generals. Mayor?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? And then we'll continue discussing.
Second.
Councilwoman Foot, we have a second. Councilwoman Foot?
Yes. I'd like for us to vote on these items separately. If we chose to do that, Jason, if you couldn't have your concession stand in your box office, which one would you rather have? Which one would be more important this year, if you had to wait another year on the other?
They're both going hand in hand. The box office, when we increase the box office, our attendance is gonna rise even more, and we're gonna have more people in the park and need to have better customer service inside with the points of sale.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. There's a couple of ways to handle this, but Councilman Wallace, go ahead.
A couple of questions. One, on the box office and concessions equipment, does the ball club normally own their own equipment, or does the city normally own the equipment in the past?
The city owns most everything in the ballpark.
Okay, so the equipment, so that's not abnormal for you to be asking the city to purchase more equipment then?
No, sir.
All the equipment, including the video board, everything belongs to us. We have asset tags, and
Okay, okay.
if they should leave.
But I mean, everything in the kitchen belongs to the city then, as far as, okay. The other question is tickets. Are y'all selling tickets online?
Yes, sir.
Is that helping with,
Yes, sir, it did. That's some of the things that we were trying to do last year as well to, make people more aware. even going outside, telling people that have smartphones they could log on to our ticket office right on their phone to try to, and could buy their tickets, and some did, and just take their phone over to the gate to get it scanned. Our demographics a little bit different. Some of our fans not have a smartphone to be able to do that. You know, we do try everything that we can to try to get we're trying to get our season ticket base up. We're trying to sell groups. We're trying to encourage people to buy tickets ahead of time. But, you know, it's still 1,500, 2,000 people on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night that show up. And it's just trying to get them through with the 3 lines is just logistically almost impossible in a timely manner.
Okay, I'm taking that you do not foresee that the online ticket technology over the years will pick up enough so that you won't need the extra ticket booths then?
I mean, we could have always used the extra ticket booths on our big nights. I hope that the advance tickets do. I mean, that's better for all of us, for tickets to be bought ahead of time. We can plan better to know what our crowds are going to be instead of, it's a better guess and knowing how to prepare food and everything else. But even in the early days, when a lot of people had season tickets, we'd have lines out to the circle, which is a great problem for us to have. We just don't want fans to come into the park to have a negative experience from the very beginning.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other discussion? Councilwoman Foote, did you offer?
I would like to amend that motion and have us vote separately on the items.
Second that amendment.
Okay, we have an amendment to vote on each of the 3 elements. Is it 3?
5, 6,
Well, let's go to the breakout. Okay.
6.
Well, 2 of them are. So the motion to amend would include a vote on all 6 of those, including the A&E and contingency for overage.
Why don't we vote for this first, and then they can make their amendments?
We need to,
I made the motion first.
can't approve it and come back and amend it. Okay, we have, okay. All right, we have an amendment. It's been seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? If not, council, please vote. You're voting on the amendment.
Question on the motion, voting on the amendment.
On what, Councilwoman put?
Voting on each of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items separately.
Vote now.
Council, please vote.
And the amendment passes with 4 voting in favor.
And one more question on the first one we're fixing to vote on. On that lighting standards, is that something we're required to do, or y'all just suggesting we do?
Minor
They
league,
required us to do that on the MILB?
if it's not fixed, teams can basically just refuse to play until it is fixed, the teams or the major league affiliate, due to safety issues.
We've avoided the project for 4 years, I guess. Starting back in 2008, we failed the audit.
In
And we got-
2011, we failed it worse,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
and I guess that's because the lights just slowly dim over a period of time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we're voting on each item. First one's $43,500 to get the lighting up to standard. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Second item is concession stand renovation, $35,000. Is there a motion?
So move.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Discussion? Council, please vote.
And that motion fails with 5 voting no and 2 voting yes.
$45,000?
Wait a minute, now. That was for, I changed that vote. I pushed down no, I changed that vote. That's not supposed to be a yes, I'm sorry.
Supposed to be a yes. Mayor, can you ask them to vote again?
Yes, would council vote again on that issue?
Councilman Francisco, are you voting on that or are you abstaining? Councilman Gray, are you gonna vote or are you gonna abstain? That, motion still fails with 4 voting against and 3 voting yes.
Box office renovation, $45,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Council, please vote.
And that motion passes with 5 members in favor and 2 against.
Box office concession, oh, got a question?
Yes, so point of order on that one, since the concession stand renovation failed, then should we not just vote on the box office equipment and not
Dollar
concession
amount.
stand equipment?
Councilwoman Foot, what's your pleasure? Is your
I
motion?
think that would be right, because we voted against the concession stand renovation, so we wouldn't need the equipment. Unless you wanted to store it somewhere.
I don't think so.
The only thing we'd really be voting on would be the box office
Box
equipment.
office. Mhm.
Sessions and box office are 2 different things.
Okay, what,
And I'm
We just-
assuming that the,
we've had a motion and an approval. Council voting the affirmative on box office renovation. You all want to vote on box office concessions equipment?
We'll
Yes,
have-
it's
we'll
an
have-
individual issue.
We'll have to get the equipment for the box office.
yeah, I said.
Okay,
we just
60.
vote.
Box office equipment.
$65,000 for box office concessions equipment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second. Discussion? Council, please vote on that one.
And that motion passes with 5 members in favor and 2 against.
Okay, if we do the other, we got A&E.
So
And we
moved.
have renovation on the box office, so we'll need some A&E. It's $8,000. We have a motion. Is there a
So moved.
second? Second?
Second.
Second. Discussion, council? Council, please vote.
Motion passes 6 members in favor, 1 against.
And the contingency, $3,500. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion, council, please vote.
We don't need the contingency.
Here, I'll fix that.
Have we
Councilman
voted?
Gray, are you voting? You abstaining? Oh, okay, okay. That motion fails with 4 against and 3 that voted affirmatively.
Okay, do we have a final total on that? Anyone? How much, Karen? Okay, thank you. Item 2, consideration of proposed sale of surplus property located at 813 East Lafayette Street to the Tabernacle of David, House of Israel for $500.
Move the approval.
Have approval. Motion. Second. Discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Item 3, thank you, Al. Consideration of a grant with the Department of Economic and Community Development for $2 million, with the grant proceeds being used for emergency generators and wastewater sewer improvements. Karen, and we have Steve Raper with JEA. If y'all come up, please.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
Appreciate the opportunity to be before you. This is a economic and community development grant that was filed by the city, and the city was gracious enough to allow us to participate. We could not apply for this as JEA standalone. It had to be under the city's request. And what JEA's portion of this is a sewer line segment. I don't know if this will show up or not. Yeah, it looks like it will. The red section here, this is Riverside Drive coming over toward Highland. And this is a wastewater sewer line segment that was installed in the early 60s and is in need of replacement. It's part of our 10-year master plan. It's a little less than 5,000 feet of pipe. We're going to replace the existing 36-inch pipe with a 48-inch pipe. This is critical infrastructure as far as we're concerned and the city's concerned because it handles the 100% of the East Industrial Park wastewater as well as downtown Jackson and a lot of residential combined with it. So we feel it's important to take advantage of this grant to fund about half of the cost of this line segment replacement.
The city will use our proceeds to purchase generators for our emergency facilities, fire, police, and dispatch. Back in the 2008 storm, it was deemed that generators were needed because we had some failure points there. So these will be generators at all of our emergency facilities.
Karen, do you have the breakdown on the amount of funding per agency?
The city will get about $400,000 from
Okay.
the grant. And as of yesterday, because the estimates are coming in lower than anticipated, we may be also to get a fourth generator for one of our radio towers.
Okay. All right. And it's a 100% grant.
100%. There is no match whatsoever, and as Steve indicated, the reason that it's coming through the city is they were not able to apply on their own. This is CDBG funding, and we're working with community development partners out of Nashville, Tennessee, in getting this, and it was a 2-year process to obtain this grant.
Move the approval.
Have a motion for approval, second. Discussion. Council, please vote.
I had a question. I didn't
Go
get in
ahead.
there. About how long will that project be? You know, how long will it take to
It's
complete that?
probably, there's actually two components. The one we're bringing to you today, I anticipate taking 6 to 8 months. It's a large line segment in a very difficult construction area.
Will the citizens, will that interfere with their driving, getting through that area? How will that?
The impact, on the east end toward Holland, it's back behind the old Brooks Steakhouse. So it won't there. Riverside Drive could possibly be impacted slightly. But normally, we're used to that, and we have construction allowances to
So
make
people would still
provisions
be
for
able to
that.
get through, you know, that,
Yes,
since we only have 2 ways from South Jackson
Right,
to get
right.
anywhere.
It's a good
Okay.
question.
Thank you.
Okay, is there, do we have a motion? And a second? Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Item 4 is consideration request from the Jackson Madison County School System for donation of a vehicle to Liberty Technology Automotive Program. They have a surplus vehicle slated for that. Any questions of council?
Move
So
for the approval.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Approval, second. Any discussion? Council, please vote.
The vote is unanimous.
Item 5 is consideration of contract for on-the-job reinsurance and third-party administrator.
We received 4 bids, 4 proposals on OJI and TPA, and the lowest and best proposal is Brentwood Services. The other ones did not submit a proposal on the OJI. We have Stacy Stone and Keith here, and they can answer any questions if you've got any concerning this project.
Move to approve Brentwood Services.
Second.
Motion, second. Discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
And item 6, we have a contract, consideration contract for street resurfacing.
Move for the approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Discussion. Council, please vote.
The vote is unanimous.
Deleted item 7. We'll go to 8, consideration of contract for fire department uniforms.
These are uniforms, they're not turnout gear. Turnout gear was approved in July, and the lowest and best bidder is out of Memphis, and let's see what the name is. Accurate Law Enforcement, $27,252.95 for uniforms for the fire department.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion, second.
I have one
Discussion.
question. How many uniforms will that buy?
It'll buy enough uniforms for all of our employees in the fire department. It's not inflated at all. They have polo shirts, T-shirts, the pants.
So this is for all our employees,
All-
not just the annexed area? That's what I was
That's
trying to
correct.
get
It's
at.
for all of our
Okay.
fire personnel.
Okay, thank you.
Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Have some board appointments. Keep Jackson Beautiful Commission, the reappointment of Johnny Griffin Jr., Scott Parrish, Norma Bundy, and Marcus Chandler.
Move to approve.
Second.
Council, please vote.
The vote vote is unanimous.
The IDB, reappointment of Danny Wheeler.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, discussion.
No,
Council, please vote.
Siamese twins.
The vote is unanimous.
RFC is reappointment of Obie Beard.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion? There's a
Second.
motion, second, discussion. Council, please vote.
The vote is unanimous.
And appointment to the Jackson Housing Authority Board, appointment of Andre Temple.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Council, please vote.
The vote is unanimous.
Item 10 is budget amendments.
Okay, the first amendment we have before us today is for the ACT grant, acceptance of the alcohol countermeasure team grant received from the state of Tennessee in the amount of $39,958.52. This is in the Jackson Police Department to cover overtime and benefits for traffic stops and setups during the weekend related to the alcohol enforcement. There is no match whatsoever, and this is administered by Lieutenant Ron Adams in the Jackson Police Department.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
The second amendment that you have before you today is for the Federal Equitable Seizure Fund, an amendment for some equipment needed for the Metro Narcotics Unit. We pulled from the Federal Equitable Seizure Reserve account. Again, no fund, nothing drawn from fund balance. This is built up in their reserve for seizures, and they will be using this for different types of equipment that they need in the Metro Narcotics Unit. That amendment is the amount of $50,500.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second, discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
The third amendment that you have before you today is to transfer funds from debt service to the capital fund in the amount of $160,360 for street resurfacing capital budget to continue the Royal Street project.
So moved.
Motion second, discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
And the last amendment that you have before you today will have an adjustment based on your earlier vote. This was for the transfer of capital funds to Pringles Park, was the amount of $200,000. With the vote that you took today, it'll be in the amount of $161,500 to put in what you voted on.
I got one question on that one. If the concession equipment, we voted on concession and box office equipment, we'll only be purchasing half of that or a portion of that. Will we have to do a budget amendment after the fact to transfer money back that they don't end up not needing?
Because they won't need the
Or
six
do we,
I'm sure Mr. Compton and Mr. LaFoon can get me the correct numbers on it, so we can adjust, and I can bring it back to you if you'd like for me to do that. I was just basing it on your vote, and you voted on the full amount on that particular item.
well, I mean,
We
if
specified the box office
Yeah.
equipment is what
we
we
transfer the
specified.
money over to the capital outlay, we're gonna have to spend it somewhere at some point in time anyways, probably, won't we? I mean, is that gonna make any difference because they've got the overage already? Or should we wait?
Mr. LaFoon?
You need to trust David, Jason and myself, that we will give Karen the amount that's applicable to the box office. And then the other capital, like you say, we can just sit there.
All right, I'll make a motion for approval then, for the $161,500, that the amount.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, discussion. Council, please vote.
And the vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Final item is consideration of invoices over $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, council, please vote.
The vote is unanimous.
Being no further business, meeting is adjourned.